Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless you. Hey, it's that time again. We need you to subscribe to the IUIC Phoenix YouTube page, all right? So make sure you go ahead and subscribe right now. We need your help. Shalom.
When you look in the mirror, what do you feel? Fearlessness, austerity, masculinity, godliness. But what does your beard say about you? Get definitive results with the bold, natural sense from the manly badge of dignity beard oil and ignite the king in you. Because it's important to look how you feel.
Hey, Shalom, Most High in Christ bless Israel. Officer Elkanan here with another edition of Cuts from the Street, MLK Day. Who do I have here with me today?
Dr. Ranisha Blache.
Marcus. Today I'm here with Drew. And this is IUIC Cuts from the Street.
Sister Ranisha.
Yes.
Okay, Sister Ranisha, who is a doctor. All praises to the Most High. Congratulations on that incredible feat to be a doctor. So that's not easy. I commend you for that. Taking your education serious. So,
Thanks.
All right, so what does MLK Day mean to you?
MLK Day is a reminder to continue to push forward on our goals of achieving true freedom. Unfortunately, too often we stop at privilege for a few, and the ultimate goal is still to achieve true freedom, and we have yet to do that in this country or throughout the world for the most part. So this is a reminder of our struggles, but also the fact that coming together as a united front can actually work, and this is a reminder to continue to do that.
Got you. So MLK is just a reminder to keep achieving our goals. We haven't done so yet, unfortunately, but it's a reminder to keep pushing together to reach our goals. Got you. Amazing.
Something like this, you look around, us coming together, learning the history. I talked to one of you gentlemen earlier, just learning the history, passing the information on that a lot of us may not know. Like shit like this is helpful for me, because there's a lot of history I don't know that I read the pamphlets that I've been handed and stuff like that and got to learn. So MLK Day to me just means unification and good time, black folks celebrating each other, man, and each one teaching one.
What does MLK Day mean to you?
For me, I feel like this is something that I have to be part of, because I feel like this is my duty to keep this going, just because it was something that just one this got me on the spot.
Nah, you good.
So
okay.
For sure. All right. So MLK Day to me, I feel like is my day. This is like my Independence Day. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we obviously wouldn't be in the place that we're in now without Martin Luther King, right? So I feel like this is something that I gotta keep going. Something that we need to keep alive.
Right.
Something that I don't know. It's a good question.
Question 2. In your opinion, was the conditions of the black family better or worse during segregation?
During segregation, it depends on which factor you're looking at. When it comes to education, I believe education was better in terms of the content that was offered. As an educator myself, I strongly believe that integration integration did us a stronger disservice than, as King said during his last days, and I believe it was Harry Belafonte that pointed out 5 days before he died that he said himself he believed that we had integrated into a burning house. The house is still burning. It hasn't disintegrated completely, but we're on the edge, and most people don't see the fire because we're in it, right? So I understand that integration was for the sake of trying to make sure that we had better resources. But in exchange for being in a better facility, we were exposed to all the demonic hatred from those who did nothing more but try to infiltrate our minds to get us to assimilate, not to really educate. So schooling is not education, right? It's more about conformity to whiteness, and whiteness is still prevailing, and we have a lot of work to do. So education is still far from what we're doing today. There are schools out there who are trying to do it, but they're always experiencing a lot of adversity and obstacles being thrown in their way. So I can't say it's better. I can say there are parts of it that are better. We are closer to our goal than we were at that time, but in terms of what it did, it destabilized the black community by a lot of black teachers were no longer in the rooms. A lot of our culture was no longer accepted in education. So we lost a lot in that regard. And we have to be mindful that not everything on the other side is as good as it seems, right? We really just needed resources. And that would have been a better solution at the time. But hey, we tried it, right? And this is where we are now. Now we can learn from the past, try to do something better with what we have now, and keep moving forward. But until we realize that the worst thing that happened was integration, because we lost a lot of ourselves, our identity.
That's heavy that you say that, sister, because you quoted Dr. King's. He said, "I'm afraid that I have integrated my people into a burning house," and like you said, and even his last thoughts was integration was the worst thing that happened to us, because it was more so infiltration and assimilation to corrupt our minds. Right. So that's very heavy that you can recognize that.
The second question I have for you today is, in your opinion, was the condition of the black family better or worse during segregation?
My opinion, I would say better, but I think my opinion kind of relates to just how I feel today, experiences I go through today and stuff like that. In workplaces and different environments, man, that's my personal opinion. I feel like it was better.
So what makes you say that it was better?
Just us having our own, and like I said, each one teach one and learning, and them doing them,
Them doing them. Okay, because you had made a statement about in terms of like you dealing with the workplace today. So go into a little bit of that experience that makes you believe that segregation was better.
Just like I said, the experiences in different situations. Like let me see here. I work with clients that have disabilities, and for example, you could look at a lot of their confidential information and see the difference on how they're even taken care of, as far as one being black, one being white, the support they got with the families, how they're treated by some people that they may work with. So in my work field, I kind of see it a lot.
Okay.
During?
Yeah.
So, so I would say better. Okay. Because we got to see people that look like us in a family setting. Right. Versus if we mixed, just like in my situation now, I live in the suburbs, right? Like I raised my kids in the suburbs, but I feel like there's nobody in our neighborhood that look like us. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like they can't get the family like again, like when you watch the Fresh Prince or the Cosbys, you know what I mean? Like to get that the 2-parent household, you know what I mean? To get the like we don't get it living in this. Well, my kids don't see it. Like don't see us in our neighborhood. So I feel like it was better, I guess. You know what I mean? But like not trying to be, obviously not trying to be in a racist light, obviously, you know what I'm saying? But just if my kids could be raised around other people who look like them, I feel like that would be more beneficial to our family.
Okay, right, and that makes sense. You want it like how you were saying, like how you can have family on the other side of the street that watch out for your kids.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? A lot of times we don't have that. We don't have a certain unless the community we're around the brother, our family that like auntie them or whatever. But a lot of times that don't work out like that, right?
And we'll see. I'm gonna give you some statistics to see whether or not our lives were better during segregation. So according to TulsaLibrary.org, in 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street, during a time of segregation, is known as one of the most successful and affluent black community in U.S. history, which had 108 black-owned businesses, 41 grocery stores, 30 restaurants, 5 hotels, a bus system, 4 pharmacies, 5 cleaning shops, just to name a few. And these were all black-owned. Self-sufficient black community, keeping the dollar within the community during segregation. So while America was on a decline during the what was that time in history when America was going down and it was a recession? What was the Great Depression? There you go. Thank you, sir. During the Great Depression, we were being more successful than our white counterparts, and
which is why they came after us.
Right, and you a smart sister, you an educated sister. You have history and knowledge. Another interesting fact, according to AtlantaBlackStar.com, Black Wall Street was destroyed during what history calls the Tulsa Massacre. In the initial years after the riot, surviving residents began to rebuild the once vibrant city. It thrived again until the desegregation of the 1950s and 60s. Black Wall Street has never been what it once was since. So we've never seen a Black Wall Street duplicated with a thriving black community with doctors, lawyers, physicians, black-owned businesses as a community. Once we started to integrate into society, we don't have a separate black community or city that is self-sufficient on its own. We don't have that anymore.
Well, that's what I'm trying to uncover. There's a lot of hidden history. And invisibility is an issue throughout the African diaspora. It's a global issue, right? That was one of the many Black Wall Streets that there were.
Right.
I'm actually one of the descendants of the Okima community here in Arizona, which my mother was a child when they destabilized that to build what is now Sky Harbor Airport. There are remnants of it left, right? Most of us don't even know our own history here, but there's a lot of Black Wall Streets that are existing. Actually, there's still thriving black communities here in Arizona today, but you don't know about them because invisibility and being hidden is part of our protection. And you'll notice there's a lot of black people throughout the world. Most of South America is black, right? But they don't tell you that, they don't advertise that. One, because the people who are there are hiding for protection. Because once they realize we're there, they're gonna find our resources. They're gonna come for us and they will start to kill us, and it's happening.
And infiltrate us and destroy us.
All the time. Right. So we have to continue to be mindful. On one hand, we want to share what we have going on and be visible to those who we want to collaborate with and connect with across the diaspora, but we got to be careful of exposing ourselves. Can't be having, ooh, is that a bee?
Yeah, that was a bee.
Okay, I don't want to kill it.
I saw your beautiful hat.
Okay, yeah, colors, right? But yeah, we got to be mindful that move, not always in by being loud about it and being too visible to the wrong people. Because there are so many people who hating on us, they're gonna come for us. So there are still some thriving communities out there. I will say that we didn't stop our efforts, they're continuing. There's still small communities here and there that are thriving, but if they put themselves out there, then we know what's gonna happen. Move and Philly got bombed in the middle of Philadelphia, right? All these things are happening. There are still cities that are underwater to this day with graveyards at the bottom of them, and just throughout the world, really. So it's we have to share our stories through oral tradition, the way we used to, through images and in hidden ways, like even in our hair. We've been creative like that. So if we can share our stories to empower us together without exposing ourselves to those who are trying to bring harm, that's what we need to do. So we need to be just be mindful of how we share it, but still share the knowledge.
That's beautiful, my sister.
Which had 108 black-owned businesses, 41 grocery stores, 30 restaurants, 5 hotels, a bus system, 4 pharmacies, 5 clothes cleaning shops, just to name a few.
That was all Black Street? I mean, I heard about it, but I don't know too much of the history, but that's damn, I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, they were trying to build it, and it was desegregated. It was stopped once they stopped the desegregation?
Correct. That's what.
What's your question, my fault?
No. That's just pretty much what that statistic was going into to show that we tried to rebuild it, but because of what integration, it became null and void at that point, right?
Okay, I believe my opinion is we better off y'all over there, we over here.
Feel about knowing we were better off when we were segregated? How do you feel like knowing all that information, we were better off being segregated?
I mean, I've always known. Like, I feel like that's what's. I don't want to say it, but I feel like that's what people are afraid of. Honestly, is the black family. Honestly, like if we can get our own shit, I feel like our dollar is what keeps the economy going.
Okay, right.
And I feel like if we found out what to do with our dollar, you know what I mean, it would change the world. You know what I mean? Like, well, not it would just change the way that things are. You know what I mean? I feel like what's pushed in our face is not gonna help us. Like what's pushed on our kids, you know what I mean, to go drop tons of money on stuff that you're not gonna be able to pass down, or stuff that you're not gonna be able to build with.
Right.
Or so. I mean, I've always felt like we, you know, like as a people, we work to get to a space, and of course that's like the most dangerous thing, because that's how they're making their money is off of our dollar. You know what I mean? So I think if we, I don't know. I've always felt like that was something that, you know, was something that was really beneficial to us.
Last question. Do you believe Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream for justice and peace, witnessed through the marches in the 60s, now a reality?
I can only say to an extent, right? To an extent, because there's too many of us who are still struggling. And again, it's not about tokenism where there's privilege for a few. We're definitely living a much better life than we did back, you know, to some extent, right? There's a lot more freedom. However, we're still under a mental crisis. I mean, 78% of most suicides for children are black to this day. This is current statistics, right? We got to be mindful of that. So there is progress, but along with each step along the way, there's some things we got to be mindful of, that we're sacrificing other things. So
have we achieved justice and peace, given the fact we still march for justice and peace today?
Obviously not. We haven't achieved it yet. There is no peace when we're constantly having to just worry about walking outside our doors and somebody doing something to us and not being held accountable for it. Having the freedom to kill us on sight at their will, right? So we have to be mindful of all of that. So to some extent, yes, we're out here today, and God forbid anything goes wrong. We have a MLK Youth Rally on Saturday, and I pray nobody comes in to that facility to do us any harm. Right. But there's always that in the back of our minds. So we're not completely free. We're not. And it's a global issue. So until we all come together as a collective across the world, we're going to continue to struggle. Celebrate every win along the way.
Got you. That's beautiful.
It's tough. I don't know. I don't know.
Right, so think about it, right? Because if we were doing marches during the 60s with Martin Luther King to bring our people together, to be able to get equal rights, equal justice, right? Has that become a reality today?
Absolutely, yes.
So we have equal.
No. Excuse me, no, hell no. That goes back to my opinion with the segregation. I think it's better. No, it's not becoming reality. For sure, no.
Okay. Do you believe Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream for justice and peace, witnessed through marches in the 60s, is now a reality, given the fact that we still march for justice and peace today?
I'd say no. I'd say it even got worse, honestly. But I just feel like it's evolved, but I feel like they put so many distractions in our face to where we don't either recognize it or we don't care to see it because we got so much fun shit going on in our face is what we think is fun or entertainment. But honestly, I feel like we're in a worse place, honestly, than we were in the 60s when, you know what I mean? Like everybody was, I mean, you know, I got my streetwear, but in the 60s, everybody had on suits. Every man had suits. Every man had a clean cut. You know what I mean? Every man was willing to help the next man. Even like, again, like just, you know, if somebody bring home the groceries, helping, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like we're not in a space to where like, it's almost like, you know, like, of course, like I speak to my people when I'm out, but like, so like sometimes I feel like some other people don't want to speak. I just feel like we're just in a different space, and it may, I don't know if it's because of that's what was put in place, you know, I don't know, but you know what I mean? I just feel like, I don't feel like we are where, based off of, you know, based on the history, I don't feel like we are where where we're supposed to be going, you know what I mean?
It's my sister, as IUIC TV, we are God's chosen people. I don't know if you've heard.
IUIC stand for?
Israel United in Christ. So we are the biblical Israelites, God's chosen people, and we're united under Christ, the black Messiah. Christ is a black man, King Solomon a black man, God is a black man. In this book, it shows you that these were dark-skinned men with woolly hair that lived in Africa. It was whitewashed and changed when we assimilated, went through slavery, assimilated into their religion, and got whitewashed. But this is a black man's book. But this is the thing that was wrong with MLK's dream, right? The brother had good intentions, he had love for his people, and he thought the best way, well, if we can't beat them, join them. That was his strategy. But let's see what God says. Read what you got.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 17.
Read up a little bit, or read louder, I mean.
As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
As for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help, or for our help, right? Because we still looking for help. We still marching for justice and peace today. From the 60s, even on now in the 2024, we still marching. Read.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
What the Bible say?
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
God said we watching for a nation that cannot save us. They're not gonna help us. That's why the kingdom of heaven lieth within you, because we can't expect them to save us when we're the ones destroying ourselves with the black on black crime, the prostitution with the women, the OnlyFans with the women, the nuclear family household is destroyed. There's no longer wife, husband, or there's no longer husband, wife, and children. There's baby daddies, baby mamas, and side pieces. So until we can get that in order, no other nation is going to want to save us.
Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Right, it says gather together, right? When you look at the statistics, right? When you go to Black Friday, right? We're the highest consuming nation of people on Black Friday. We're spending billions, trillions, if not trillions on Black Friday just to be able to give the kids and everything like that gifts for stuff that has nothing to do with us. Is the book of Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
Because the people that did this to us, of course we're gonna join hand with them. We're gonna join hand with people that don't generally look like us. But guess what? There's always something behind their back with us. Right. Like Tulsa was the biggest massacre in American history. Then they tried to do it again. They tore it down one more time. You see what I'm saying? Segregation hadn't fully helped black people because we have to have events like this to understand our greatness.
I feel like, again, like I feel like it was put in place. Like, yeah, they use the schools and the education,
right?
But honestly, I feel like it may. I don't know, man. It's a lot of pieces to it, and I feel like in a lot of ways it didn't help. You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly. That's why we're here. We give you something to think about. There's something to put in your mind and say, maybe you know what, that makes sense.
It's always on my mind.
Right.
That's always on my mind. So.
Right. Let's finish this out.
Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
So God is saying the righteous, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, of course we gonna go through it. We've been going through it for 400 plus years, right? Yeah. God said out of all of that, you still gonna be saved. It's gonna be hard right now. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a lot of things we not around our people. But God said we're gonna be saved out of the conditions we've been in.
Right.
What club was that at?
That was admit that a lot of people don't even realize they.
I've called her. She hasn't responded. I've called her more than a few times.
But the Zulu Nation, I'm like, what the hell is this? I know nobody know what I'm talking about. You'll leave me on the island by myself. I don't know what the hell Bishop's talking about. That's what y'all do. Then after class, yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I just don't want to be caught out there. The hell is this? Get on my damn nerves. So read that again, 31.
What is the nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family.